Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Sophie Miller, and today I want to talk about something that might be happening to you right at this very moment. Did you know that this seemingly harmless habit you're engaging in right now, yes, sitting, could be silently damaging your brain? It's alarming to think that something we consider normal and part of our daily routine could be drastically increasing our risk of dementia and stroke. Recent research has revealed disturbing data on how prolonged sedentary behavior is directly linked to accelerated cognitive decline and severe cerebrovascular events. Have you ever stopped to think about how much time you spend sitting each day? If you spend more than 8 hours a day sitting, whether at work, watching TV, or at the computer, your brain is in real and immediate danger. I'm not exaggerating or trying to scare you. Recent scientific studies have shown that people with sedentary habits have up to 82% higher risk of developing some form of dementia and 50% higher chances of suffering an ischemic stroke. These are numbers we can't ignore, especially considering that most of us have jobs or lifestyles that keep us seated for hours on end. Let's understand exactly what happens in your body during these long periods of sitting. It's a veritable metabolic storm. First, blood circulation drastically decreases, reducing the flow of oxygen and essential nutrients to the brain. Have you ever noticed how sometimes you feel mentally tired after sitting for a long time? It's not just an impression. Your brain is literally receiving less fuel to function properly. Simultaneously, there's a significant increase in inflammatory markers in your body. This silent inflammation, which you can't feel on a day-to-day basis, slowly affects important brain structures. Additionally, prolonged sedentary behavior causes insulin resistance, impairing how your brain uses glucose, its main fuel. This biochemical cascade leads to atrophy of critical brain regions, especially the hippocampus, our memory center. Have you noticed difficulties remembering small day-to-day things? It could be a warning sign your body is sending you. Let me share with you the story of one of my patients. Charles was 65 years old when I met him. He was the typical digital workaholic. He easily spent 10 hours a day sitting in front of his computer with breaks only for meals, which, guess what, he also had while sitting. Charles always told me, "Doctor, I thought I was preserving my health by not smoking and drinking only moderately." He believed he was doing enough, as many of us do. At 62, Charles began noticing difficulties remembering the names of close colleagues and frequently forgot where he had parked his car at the mall. What seemed like mere distraction became concerning when he started missing important appointments. When we conducted complete neurological exams, what we discovered was alarming. Charles had a brain that appeared aged beyond his chronological age, with atrophy in important regions, and, more worryingly, showed small silent infarcts that were gradually compromising his cognitive ability. The diagnosis was clear. Years of extreme sedentary behavior were taking their toll. The seemingly harmless lifestyle was literally causing brain damage. Let's now delve into exactly how prolonged sedentary behavior affects your brain, because this happens in multiple devastating ways. First, sitting for long periods drastically reduces the production of a protein called BDNF, or brain-derived neurotrophic factor. This protein is absolutely essential for the formation of new neural connections and for maintaining existing ones. Think of it as a natural fertilizer for your brain. When you remain seated for hours, the production of this vital substance significantly decreases. Furthermore, sedentary behavior increases oxidative stress in the body, accelerating the brain aging process. Your brain cells become more vulnerable to damage and degeneration. It's as if you were prematurely aging your brain, with each extra hour you spend sitting. Can you imagine what it would be like to have a brain functioning as if it were 10 or 15 years older than your actual age? That's the reality for many people with extremely sedentary habits. Another serious effect is that sedentary lifestyle seriously compromises vascular health. Blood vessels lose elasticity, becoming more prone to plaque and clot formation, significantly raising the risk of cerebral microinfarcts, small silent strokes that gradually compromise areas of the brain without you noticing until the symptoms become evident. When this happens, there's usually already considerable damage. One of the most concerning aspects is that prolonged sedentary behavior literally decreases the volume of the hippocampus, the fundamental brain region for memory formation and storage. Neuroimaging studies clearly show that sedentary people have smaller hippocampi compared to physically active people of the same age. This explains why so many people report memory problems even before reaching their senior years. And there's more. Recent research has shown that sitting for long periods negatively alters the gut microbiota, the set of beneficial bacteria that live in your intestine. This affects the so-called gut-brain axis, an extremely important bidirectional communication pathway for neurological health. An imbalance in these bacteria can lead to changes in mood, cognition, and even contribute to neurodegenerative process. Talking with my colleague, neurologist Dr. Helena Vasconcelos, she explained something I always share with my patients. Our bodies were made for regular movement. We weren't evolutionarily designed to sit for 8, 10, 12 hours a day. Each hour of prolonged sedentary behavior accelerates neurodegenerative processes that we previously associated only with natural aging. The brain needs movement to maintain its health. This makes a lot of sense when we think about our evolutionary history. For thousands of years, humans were extremely active, hunting, gathering, building, constantly moving. Our genes still expect this level of activity, and when they don't receive it, our bodies begin to malfunction. It's like trying to keep a high-performance car always in the garage. Over time, it starts to develop problems precisely because it's not being used as it should be. But now comes the good news, and I want you to pay close attention to this. Even small changes in your daily habits can have significant impacts on your brain health. It's not necessary to completely transform your life or quit your job. Simple modifications can make all the difference. Let me share the inspiring story of another patient of mine, Renata. At 70, she was diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment after decades working as an accountant, practically immobile for 9 hours a day. Like many people in the financial area, she rarely got up from her chair, focused on spreadsheets and reports. When she came to my office, she was extremely concerned about her memory lapses and difficulty learning new things. Following medical recommendation, we implemented a simple plan. Renata started taking active breaks of just 5 minutes every hour of work. During these 5 minutes, she simply walked around the office, went up and down a few flights of stairs, or did simple stretches. Additionally, she began walking for 30 minutes daily before breakfast. Nothing extreme, no intensive gym, just these 2 fundamental changes. The result? Doctor, after just 3 months following these recommendations, my cognitive tests improved impressively. My memory and concentration ability returned to levels I hadn't experienced in years. My family noticed the difference even before I fully perceived it, Renata reported emotionally during our follow-up consultation. Her neuropsychological exams confirmed the subjective impression. There was significant improvement in practically all cognitive functions evaluated, and science confirms these clinical observations. researchers at the University of Copenhagen conducted a fascinating study where they proved that interrupting sitting time every 30 minutes, even if only for 2 minutes of light movement, significantly reduces inflammatory markers associated with neurodegeneration. That's right, just 2 minutes every half hour. Participants who adopted this practice for 4 months showed improvement of up to 28% in cognitive functions and a measurable increase in the volume of the hippocampus, that crucial brain region for memory that I mentioned earlier. Can you imagine it? Just with 2-minute breaks every half hour, these participants managed to reverse part of the damage caused by sedentary behavior and effectively increase the size of a fundamental brain region. It's really impressive how our brain responds positively even to small changes, as long as they're consistent. Another study published in the prestigious journal Neurology followed more than 1,600 adults for a period of 5 years and discovered that those who broke up their sedentary time with small, active breaks had 29% less risk of developing cognitive impairment compared to those who remained continuously seated. These data are powerful and show us that small actions can have a profound impact on long-term brain health. So, what can you do today to protect your brain from this silent danger of sedentary behavior? I'll share with you the strategies I recommend to my patients that are supported by solid scientific evidence. First, establish a rule to stand up every 30 minutes, even if only for 2 minutes. You can set an alarm on your phone or use specific apps that remind you of these breaks. During those 2 minutes, simply walk, do light stretches, or go up and down a few steps. The important thing is to move your body and restore circulation. At first, it may seem like you're interrupting your workflow, but soon you'll realize that these breaks actually increase your productivity and focus when you return to the chair. Second, adopt a routine of at minimum 30 minutes of daily walking. It doesn't have to be all at once. You can divide it into 3 10-minute sessions if it's more convenient for your routine. The important thing is to ensure this daily time of continuous movement that will significantly increase cerebral blood flow. Have you ever noticed how sometimes you have brilliant ideas while walking? It's no coincidence. Your brain literally works better when you're in motion. A third suggestion, especially if you work in an office or at home, is to consider an adjustable desk that allows you to alternate between working seated and standing. Although standing statically for long periods isn't ideal either, alternating between the two positions throughout the day brings significant benefits for circulation and metabolism. Many of my patients report improved concentration and reduced back pain after adopting this practice. Another interesting strategy is to have walking meetings when possible. Instead of meeting with colleagues in a closed room, all sitting around a table, suggest a walking meeting outdoors or even through the office corridors. This not only benefits the brain health of all participants, but often makes discussions more productive and creative. Have you tried this yet? And finally, advice I give to all my patients: replace part of the time you spend watching TV with activities that require movement. It's not necessary to completely eliminate your relaxation time, but you can, for example, do stretches while watching your favorite program or alternate between sitting and standing during longer movies. You can also adopt a new hobby that involves movement, such as gardening, dancing, or even interactive games that require you to stand up and move around. Based on studies published in respected medical journals like Neurology and JAMA, we can confidently state that reducing sitting time can be as important for brain health as controlling blood pressure or cholesterol to prevent dementia and stroke. I'm not exaggerating when I say that the choice between remaining seated for hours or moving regularly can literally determine the future of your mental and cognitive health. Think about this. Years of research show that physically active people have brains that appear to be up to 10 years younger in terms of cognitive function when compared with sedentary people of the same age. Would you like to have a brain that functions as if it were a decade younger? This possibility is within reach for all of us through simple but consistent changes in our daily routine. Your brain is literally begging for movement. Every cell, every neuron, every synaptic connection works better when your body is active. Science makes it clear. Standing up now can save your mind tomorrow. And I'm not talking about a distant future. The benefits begin to appear within weeks after implementing these changes. Let's do a little mental exercise together now. Imagine your typical day and mentally count how many hours you spend sitting. Add up the time at breakfast, in transportation, at work, during meals, watching TV, or using the computer at night. If the total exceeds 8 hours, you're in the risk zone I mentioned at the beginning. But now imagine that same day with small active breaks every 30 minutes and a half-hour walk. How would it be different? How would you feel at the end of that day? Many of my patients report not only improvement in cognitive functions after adopting these practices, but also more energy, better mood, better quality sleep, and reduction of chronic pain. The benefits go far beyond brain protection. It's a true transformation in overall quality of life. I want to make it clear that it's never too late to start. I've had 80-year-old patients who implemented simple changes in their routines and showed significant improvements in their cognitive functions. The human brain maintains its neuroplasticity, the ability to form new connections and adapt throughout life. Therefore, even if you have decades of sedentary habits, your brain will still respond positively to these changes. In summary, prolonged sedentary behavior represents a real and significant danger to your brain health. It reduces cerebral blood flow, increases inflammation, compromises the production of essential neurotrophic factors, and accelerates neurodegenerative processes. These effects manifest as memory loss, difficulty concentrating, and significantly increase the risk of dementia and stroke. However, with simple changes accessible to everyone, such as taking 2-minute active breaks every 30 minutes, walking daily for half an hour, alternating between working seated and standing, and reducing sedentary time during leisure, you can not only protect your brain but actively improve your cognitive health. Remember, your brain was made for movement. Each step you take, each time you stand up and move, you're nurturing that extraordinary organ that defines who you are. The science is clear and the evidence is irrefutable. For a healthy, active, and young brain, regular movement is essential. So, what are you going to do now after watching this video? Will you continue sitting or will you stand up and take the first steps toward a healthier brain? The choice is yours, but I sincerely hope you choose movement. Your future self will thank you for that decision. If you like this information and want more content on how to protect and improve your brain health, leave your like, share this video with those you care about, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to receive more valuable tips on health and wellness. In the comments, tell me, which of these strategies will you implement first in your routine? I'm eager to read your plans and answer your questions. This is Dr. Sophie Miller, reminding you that small changes today can completely transform your tomorrow. Until the next video, and don't forget, stand up, move around, live more and better.